Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about my own epiphany that I had, within the last couple of years. And, it's an epiphany that I had that's made me a better coach and a better lifter. And I think everyone universally agrees I have gotten a hell of a lot stronger in the last year. Okay, I have gotten stronger than I have ever been while I've been on YouTube, not necessarily stronger than I've been since in my 20s and I was younger with other factors at play. But I'm in my 40s now and I went through an entire year in bed sick, had to rebuild from nothing. So I'm coming back. But the thing is, I'm also doing all of this injury-free. Right? I'm injury-free for the most part. Minor pulls here or there, but I train around them, rehab them, fix them, and everything is good as new. How did I get to that point? I had to humble myself. I had to humble myself and say it doesn't matter how many years of training I have. It doesn't matter how certain I am of certain things, and even things I've been convinced of by listening to other people. I had to step back and say, I speak with a lot of conviction, and I think that's something that upsets a lot of people in the past. Or like, you speak with so much conviction and then you changed your mind on things. Well, that's just how I communicate, guys. That's just a mark of a good teacher and a good communicator. You speak with conviction and you sound convincing in what you believe, even if it turns out that you're wrong later. That's just a mark of a decent communicator and a decent teacher, right? Makes an impression. And one of the things I say, I get a lot of people who come up and say, Jason, there's a lot of stuff you're teaching in the last year that's different from things you said in the past. What should I go with? Well, I think you should go with the new material. I've learned a lot. And that came from me stepping back and saying, holy shit, maybe I have been wrong about a lot of things. Maybe I don't know everything, and maybe there are people who are wiser with more experience and more knowledge than me, and I need to really listen to those people. Okay? What do I mean listen to those people? Doesn't mean that we just take in what they say and accept all of it. It means we listen to what they say. The guys who are really, really producing champions. I mean, what sort of people? I'm talking about guys like Louis Simmons, Chris Duffin, guys like that. These phenomenal coaches, and particularly guys like Louis Simmons. And people can argue all they want about the guy, but he has produced so many champions, not just powerlifting, but now in other sports. He's revolutionized strength. And I've got to be honest, anyone who really thinks that they're qualified to be critical of this man, and there's actually been some people who recently I've seen up there who are criticizing this guy who barely hit a 500 squat in their life. It's like, you need to check your ego. I mean, if you're 30-something years old and your best lifetime squat is 500 pounds and you're going to be critical of this man as a strength coach, you need to be humbled and check your goddamn ego. Wow. Like, you're delusional. Right? And I have been in that category where I was critical of some of those ideas. But then I stepped back and said, my God, how foolish am I being? What a fool have I been? I'm being critical of some of these champions who have decades and decades and decades of coaching hundreds of amazing lifters who have tested this stuff year after year after year and refined their approaches and figured out what works and what doesn't. And then they try to figure out why it works and understand it and work it into methodologies. To be critical of these people who are stronger than I've ever been, stronger than the people being critical of them. My God, what a fool I was. And that's a hard thing for a man, especially a prideful man, to say, I have been a fool. And the only way that I'm going to get better and I'm going to get stronger and I'm going to stop getting minor injuries and getting hurt is to check my pride and my ego and my sense of entitlement and say, you know what, some of these guys know a hell of a lot more than I do. I better look at their methods, and not just look at their methods, but understand. It's one thing to say, okay, I see what they're doing. It's another thing to step back and say, why does it work? Let's assess it. Let's understand what they are doing. Why does it work, and what works and what doesn't work about it? How are they making it work? If it shouldn't work, how in the hell are they making it work? Because they're making it work. That's undeniable. Maybe it's just not always working for the exact reasons maybe they think. But it works, and you better figure out why it works. And that's what I've had to do, and to listen with an open mind and to understand. It's one thing to listen, it's another thing to understand. Say, aha, and that's what happened for me. A light bulb clicked on. Right? I mean, the barefoot training I definitely got from Duffin. You know what? It works. I actually have guys come on here and talk about, I want to see you lifting barefooted. Really? I want to get strong. You know what? I want to have strong ankles and feet when I train. This will help me build a bigger squat and deadlift. How about I keep doing it? All this conjugate type training. Look what it's done to my lifts. I've broken through plateaus. I've broken through plateaus I've been at for years. And I'm learning to refine this approach, not just in myself, but in lifters I coach. I'm taking lifters and refining this approach with them based upon the material that's out there, understanding that material and figuring out how to apply it to my own lifters. All of this material from all of these great coaches. Okay? And I'm still learning. I feel like I'm in flow state now, but I have a lot to learn. There are still people out there who can teach me things. I have a feeling 10 years from now I'm still going to be learning. And hopefully I'm still getting stronger. Right, what's up next? Let's get that 600 squat. Let's get that 650 deadlift. Get that 375 bench, but then what? Do we get stronger at a next weight down? Do we lose more body fat? All right. Why not? But I've become a better lifter for it. I mean, sitting back and setting my ego to the side and saying, you know what? Maybe I have a lot of things wrong. In fact, I know I got a lot of things wrong. Not everything that I have taught has been correct in the past. Okay? And for someone who's got a big outreach and a lot of people out there listening, you know, that can hurt your image because a lot of people are like, wow, you're flip-flopping. I'm done with you. I can't believe you changed this. I get clients who do it, but you said this 3 years ago. But you said this 4 years ago. Why are you changing on my training now with this other stuff? Why are you doing different? It's like, well, because this works better. What I'm having you do works better. What I'm doing now works better. Because I didn't know as much back then. And you know what? A year from now, I'll probably know more than I know now. 2 years from now, current me might look pretty foolish. Okay. We continually learn, we grow, and we learn from those who have come before us. And I stand on the shoulders of giants. You know, I actually get people who say, oh, you're ripping this off from this coach or that. No, I'm not, man. I am giving them credit. I am saying these guys have so much experience that trumps my own. And I've learned from their experience, and I've listened to what they've said and taken it on board. That's not stealing. Okay, that's acknowledging. That's acknowledging those who came before you and laid the groundwork for these things. And saying, I'm gonna look at everything they did and move forward with it. Build off of it. Use that as foundations. Because a lot of these guys out there have produced profound amounts of knowledge based on their experimentation and working with hundreds and hundreds of lifters and athletes. Okay? All right, they've done all the hard work. It's time for the rest of us to pay attention to these men. I have. Look at what it's been doing for me. Look how much further I've come since I shut down my ego and said, a lot of these guys probably know more. I need to understand what they're doing. Stop rejecting it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.